Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another broadcast of Northwest Georgia Cryptids. Tonight,
Yeah.
as always, I'm joined by my co-host Blake Duckworth and our newly acquired co-host, Mr. Neal uh, Neal K of Nocturnal
Yep.
Nation.
That's right.
Boys, hey,
Hey,
y'all have to forgive me tonight, folks. I'm not all with it. I'm telling you.
I hear you, brother.
We have a very special guest on the show tonight. Mr. Gregg T.J. Justice of Paranormal Adventures. Gregg's going to be joining us here shortly. Uh, Neal, anything you or Blake need to go over before we bring Gregg on?
I'm good right now.
As always, guys, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, bell notification, like, and comment. Go show Neal some love. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, amazing guy. Like to give some shout outs. Ronnie D, love you, brother. Renee, Sam, just the whole family, Old South Pittsburgh. You guys are amazing. That's all, Ricky.
Now, I would like to say this right quick, man, if you don't mind. I don't know if any of you out there are subscribed or if you know Rebel Rose Jade. If you do, then you'll know her son was in an automobile accident, totaled his truck. He didn't get killed. He got hurt pretty bad. But as a result, he lost his job. And I'm sure she don't mind me saying this, that he was her source of income. And now the family is without. So you guys just keep them in your thoughts, and if you're feeling generous, go to her page at Rebel Rose Jade and just make a donation. I'm sure she would appreciate it.
All right. Is that on Facebook?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. All right. All right, everyone. We're gonna bring Mr.
Does she have a GoFundMe set up or anything? Or
No, she has the PayPal and the Vimo and dude, one more thing, but I can't remember what it is. But she has those links up on her banner on her channel.
Folks, everybody remember her son in your prayers, and if you can, go on and please help the family out. Neal, I'll talk to you about that before we go off, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, everyone, I'm going to bring Mr. Gregg T.J. Justice on. So everybody give him a big warm welcome. Gregg, how you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, man?
We're doing good, man.
So, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, a lot of probably the watchers or listeners or whatever would a lot of them will probably recognize me from Paranormal Adventures events. I've had quite a few events with Tennessee Wraith Chasers, Amy Bruni, Jack Kenna, whole laundry list of paranormal personalities, and I've actually been doing the paranormal since probably around, or been investigating the paranormal probably since around 2009, 2010, something like that. And I had always kind of watched the shows, going back to even being like a teenager. Like, I think I started watching the paranormal shows maybe when I was 13 or something like that, and started with the show out of England called Most Haunted, which they can get pretty. Yvette likes to scream quite a bit on Most Haunted, so
yeah, I agree.
A lot of stuff, it's not anything to scream about, but I guess it's all for the entertainment value of it. But that's kind of what got me started. And then I think Paranormal State came along. Started watching that. The original Ghost Hunters, all all the shows that kind of come along after that. And I was talking. I'm actually a pharmacy technician too, a certified pharmacy technician.
Cool.
And I was talking to one of the customers who I've become friends with one day at one of the places I was working, and she was also kind of interested in the paranormal and things, and we're like, and I was living in Kentucky at the time, and I was like, oh, and we were kind of brainstorming about, okay, so what's the most haunted place in Kentucky that we know that's kind of been on some of these shows, and we landed on Waverly Hills, which is by far one of the probably top 10 most haunted places in the country, if not, number 1 or 2.
Easily.
And so yeah, we kind of jumped in head first, and kind of got ourselves. We ended up having a lot more questions than we had answers, and that's kind of what started the whole thing about investigating the paranormal.
Wow. I know you mentioned I know you mentioned Tennessee Wraith Chasers. I know a lady who I guess she still does work with them. Christy, you know who I'm speaking of?
Christy.
I cannot for the life of me remember what her last name was, but she had long black hair, or long bluish green hair whenever she was in her moods.
Bluish green.
Yeah.
I don't remember her at any of my events with them.
I went to the last one that they did at the North Carolina battleship.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool, man. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think, well, especially Chris and Mike works with quite a few different event companies, and they all have their own like staff and people that help them. So
yeah, they had one guy on their staff that worked with them for their events. I don't know what his last name is, but his first name is Jeff, and he is a character, dude. He is.
Yeah. Some of the event companies, they kind of don't like their volunteers coming to other events, but that's all I'm going to really say about that, because I can go down a rabbit hole really quickly and probably get myself in trouble. So I'm not going to do that tonight.
Yeah, let's don't do that tonight.
Yeah,
we'll save that for another time.
How did you actually start up and get involved with Paranormal Adventures? How did that come about?
Well, I had actually hurt my wrist when I was doing another job besides being a pharmacy technician, and hurt my wrist pretty bad and had to end up having surgery on it. And when you're in that situation, a lot of people don't realize how depressed and how down that you can get when you can't go to work, you can't do the things that you used to be able to do. And I kind of just started brainstorming. I'm like, okay, there has to be something I can do that I can physically do while I'm recovering from wrist surgery, which it was my dominant wrist on my right hand. And through talking to some of my friends and stuff, we kind of landed on, well, you've been doing the paranormal this long and you like teaching other people about different techniques and things like that. They're like, why not start trying to do public events? And I was thinking about it for a long time. And then my buddy JB Coates, who Blake probably knows from the hospital, she's a volunteer there. She called me one day, and she was actually working with another guy with a different group that they had kind of like a show on I can't remember if it was every Sunday or every other Sunday, but it was like a Facebook Live show called Let's Talk About It. And she just called me up out of the blue one day, and she's like, listen, she's like, I want you to put me together public events. She said, you can start them anywhere you want to. We can start them small, we can start them big. She said, I'm just going to give you the ball and let you run with it.
Wow.
And that's basically what I done. And after the first public event, which was at a place that you can't actually get into anymore because they're trying to sell it. It was called Lynchburg Haunted House down in Lynchburg, Tennessee. It was kind of a smaller event, but apparently the right person came to that event because word of mouth got out really, really fast after that. And it caught the attention of Mike and Chris from the Tennessee Rape Chasers.
Right.
And they kind of basically messaged me on Facebook. They're like, hey, this is, I think it was Mike that messaged me first. He's like, this is Mike from Tennessee Rape Chasers. And I thought somebody was shitting me or something. I was like, really? I'm like, okay. And he's like, this is my phone number. He's like, we heard about your event you had at Lynchburg. We want to be involved in another one. And I was going to actually do it at the same place, but in between the time I had the first one and me setting up the one for the Rape Chasers, they decided to sell the location. So we had to end up moving it actually to Ashmore Estates. So that was really the first event that I had with them, and it kind of went from there.
Right.
So you had a pretty good start to begin with.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And we had a really good, that was I started it kind of at the end of, started putting things in place at the end of 2016 and worked on it kind of all through 2017. And then 2018 is when I first had my initial event. And then we had a really, really good 2019. And of course, last year, nobody had really had a good 2020. So
right.
It kind of put the halt on everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to talk about some of your paranormal experiences? That's up to you.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with Waverly. Waverly is I kind of went in not really expecting to get anything. I kind of thought, they're trying to make a TV show. They're just putting a lot of this stuff on. But went to Waverly, like, seen with my eyes like a purple mist like floating in like the hallway.
Wow.
And actually ended up getting a picture of it as well, and it was like in 3 different spots. It was like in the middle, and then down by the floor, and then up at the ceiling, and then the next picture it was gone. And also seen quite a few shadow people. Seen a little boy, I believe his name is Timmy, is the one that runs around Waverly. Seen him sticking his head, like poking his head through like blank spaces in the wall, and
wow.
There was just all kinds of stuff that happened, and we wasn't there that long. It was maybe like 4 or 5 hours or something, and the craziest thing that happened though was it was I think around 2 or 3 in the morning. And me and my friend we had initially talked and kind of set up the tour of Waverly, and we brought a bunch of other friends, but we didn't know the other friends had already like called it a night, and they were already back in the gift shop, which is like where everybody meets and stuff when you go there. So we ended up being the only 2 left in this huge building by ourselves on the 3rd floor. Didn't even know
Oh.
we were there by ourselves.
And it had to be the 3rd floor.
Yeah. And what's odd is most of the time people have the most profound experiences on the 4th or the 5th floor. But for
Wow.
that night, for some reason, it was the 3rd floor. And we were kind of standing in the middle of the hallway. I think we were pretty close to the stairway that takes you up and down to the different floors. And we all of a sudden heard this huge bang, and it sounded like somebody just took a ball bat and beat the crap out of something metal.
What the hell?
And we kind of like looked at one another, and I think it took about a minute, and I don't know if it was me or her, but one of us said, "What the F was that?"
Yeah.
And I know my response was, I don't know. But I think that maybe we should check it out. And so we kind of like creeped down the hallway, like, cause we didn't know if somebody was like playing a trick on us, or if like a homeless person had come in there on us, or what had happened. And like if anybody has seen Waverly, this place is huge. So we looked up the whole hallway, like from one end to the other. And it probably took a good 30, 45 minutes to do that.
Wow.
But if somebody was in there, we could have seen them coming out of a room or something. And the only room that even had anything metal in it was a metal sink, and it was about 4 or 5 doors down from where we were originally standing, and there was nothing leaned up against it. Nothing had fell in it. There was no explanation for that sound.
You know, that it's funny you say that too, Greg, because I remember as a child when it was not long after my dad had passed away. I remember my mom saying that the night that he died, that she was at home and she remembers hearing something sounded like an old foot. She's called it an old metal foot tub. If you guys know what I'm talking about, said it sounded like one of those full of dishes that just fell down and busted everything. And it had that clinking and clanking around with the metal and all that different sounds together. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, or something like old wash tub or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had stuff like that happen to me too. Like, my grandfather passed away in, or I called him Papa. He passed away in 2001.
Yeah.
And I'm the type, I always have to sleep with a fan or something on me. And at that time I had a fan that sat on the dresser, that was right next to my bed, or the nightstand that was right next to my bed. And I remember we had just come back, from we had buried him, and we had just come back, and I was sitting there watching TV, and I was still upset, of course. And the fan, even though it was on, it stayed on all the time, and it stayed in the same place, and it had like rubber feet that it wouldn't like vibrate and fall off the bed,
Right.
or fall off the dresser. And it kept falling and hitting my foot, and it done that twice. And the third time, it didn't fall and hit my feet. It went over my feet and landed in the middle of the bed. And the fan was still on. And the only way it stopped was like, oh, I said out loud, I was like, "All right, Papa, I know you're okay." And it quit.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Is that the your very first paranormal experience?
No, my very first was actually, I seen my dad's brother that passed away when I think I was a year and a half old.
Right.
Or a year and a half years old, or whatever, ever how you say that. I was almost 2 when he passed. And I'd seen him when I think I was in kindergarten or almost getting ready to go into kindergarten, like 4 or 5 years old. And it seems to happen, or it seemed to happen when I was younger, when I was upset. And I was upset at my dad for something, and he just
Right.
appeared like a full-bodied apparition in my room and said, don't be upset with your dad. That's his job to protect you and all that, and to make sure that right from wrong. And he
Right.
just disappeared after that, and I haven't seen him since. I don't think I may have had a dream or two about him or something since then, but that's the most prolific thing with him.
Let me ask you this too, Greg, right quick. You say that when you were younger, whenever you would get upset, this events like that would happen.
Yeah.
Has anything like that happened in your adult life, where when you get upset, you have a paranormal experience?
Not when I get upset. I have one of my grandmas that if I'm getting ready to go into an investigation and it might be a little bit dicey, I smell like breakfast cooking or
Oh
like
wow.
coffee. And I know that's my nanny
Yeah.
because she always loved to cook for people. And
Wow.
I've had probably like 5 or 6 psychic mediums tell me the same thing, that she's kind of my protector,
Yeah, it
or she's
sounds
one
like
of
it.
my protectors. But she's also the one that keeps me in line. She's the first one to, like, the proverbial smack in the back of the head, like, "What are you doing, kid?
Yeah,
Get your crap together."
I hear you, man.
Um, but I also have abilities myself. I'm more of like I feel energies and feel different changes in the environment, especially when there's spirits and stuff around.
Right.
I can pick up empathically on people's emotions and stuff, especially when they're
Oh
like
yeah.
really strong emotions. I'm not so good on picking up the smaller differences.
Yeah.
But I guess if I work on it, I may be able to do more.
Yeah, please do work on it, man. I'm telling you, as an empath myself, man, I'll be honest with you, when I first started doing investigations, I relied a lot on my necrophonic app and different devices that would do the same thing.
Yeah.
But as I've grown as an empath, man, hardly ever now do I use one. Most of the time, if I use one now, it's because I'm with someone else. But I've found that as using my abilities as an empath, that I'm able to get more information that way than I could with a necrophonic, because I'm allowing the spirits to actually speak to me themselves.
Yeah, I've gotten I call myself more like an auditory empath, because I hear a lot more than most people.
Yeah.
And I can almost just about tell you when we catch an EVP, or if there should be an EVP on a recorder.
Dude,
Because
that
a
is
lot of times
wild.
I'll hear it, and I'll look at somebody and say, "Did y'all hear that?" And they're like, "No." And
Man.
even the last time that I helped with a public investigation, which was back at Halloween at Old South Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
we were over in the pharmacy waiting area, and we heard a baby crying, and me and JB were the only ones that heard it start. Everyone else heard and me and JB heard it 3 or 4 times, and I think everybody else may have heard it once, possibly.
Yeah, dude, that's a special gift there.
Yeah. And also investigating in the Thomas house. Not too long ago, we caught a cat spirit up there, and I heard it meow about 4 or 5 times, and everybody else heard it maybe once. And then we ended up getting solid evidence that there was a cat there.
Wow. You guys, excuse me just a second. I'll be right back.
No, you're fine. So you know I gotta ask, what's been your most what's been your favorite experience at Old South Pittsburgh?
Favorite. Oh Lord, I don't know if I have a favorite. There's been a lot. I guess the weirdest and kind of the coolest thing, I guess, that happens is if I've been there quite a bit, and they're kind of used to me being there, especially back a few years ago. Like, I don't get to get down there as often as I did, but back when we were remodeling it, getting ready to get it back open to the public, there was one day I went in there and the spirit, like, there was 2 or 3 shadow people that stepped out of the rooms, and then they just automatically went back in their room like, oh, it's just you again. We're not coming out for you. So that was kind of a weird thing. And I'm like, okay, guys.
It's messed up when it's messed up when the ghosts want to punk you.
Yeah, I'm like, I see how y'all want to play today. Like, yeah, next time y'all want me to interact with you, see how I act with you.
Right. That's funny, man.
Have you ever had a quote unquote scary experience at Old South Pittsburgh, or something that startled you a little bit?
Yeah, back when I first went, which was probably, I think, 2012. Back way before Ronnie D had it. They have an entity there that's called the White Witch, and most people do not get to see her. She's very rare. She very rarely comes out. There's been a handful of people that I know of that has actually even seen her. But my first time I investigated her, she actually rushed me out of one of the rooms across from the nursery and got like this close to my face and just disappeared. Dude. And I mean, I was like crawling at the carpet trying to get away from, because I didn't know what was going on. Like, I had turned around. I mean, there was something coming at me, and I was just trying to get up out of the floor because I was sitting in the floor and I couldn't get up fast enough, and I couldn't grab anything to help me get up. And it's just like, wow, Jesus, get me out of here, kind of thing.
Wow, dude. That would scare the hell out of anybody, I believe.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you that hospital has a special place in my heart. I love Old South Pittsburgh. That's my place.
Yeah. Every volunteer that's there, that's pretty much what everybody says. Like, it just, everybody that's there that I know of, either there now or have been there before, has had a calling to the place.
Yep, that's how that's
talked to them. Yeah.
We visited the hospital for the first time in 2019, and ever since then, like, that's first time I left there, I couldn't quit thinking about the place.
Wow, I have got to get out there, man.
The place will reel you in.
Yeah, and it's one of the places too that every time you go,
something will happen. It may not be anything crazy, but you always either hear something or I mean, you see a shadow or something happens.
Yeah, and to me, it's a place that it's always something different. It's never really exactly the same thing that you had happen the time you was there before.
Right.
Like I said, I've been going there since 2012, and I can't even think of one thing that's happened that has repeated itself.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Out of all the times I've been there, I've never had the same thing happen twice.
That is really unusual, especially going back to the same place so many times. That's awesome.
Yeah, I
dude.
mean,
So all of those are intelligent hauntings, and they're none of them are residuals.
Well, I mean,
there's a
they
few
are
in there.
residuals, but
Yeah.
yes.
There's a
Wow.
few in there, but Ode South is really unique in the residual things that happens at certain times during certain the environment has to be the right environment for it to happen. The
Yeah.
Well, I
residual.
mean, just an experience that would be a good example is Ronnie D's experience the reason he bought the hospital. I would say that was a residual encounter that he had. Basically, they had a nurse walk right in front of them, full body apparition, walked into the nursery and disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would consider that, a more residual type than
Yeah.
intelligent.
Yeah. I know one of the places I frequent is one of the local Civil War battlefields. And when I was there the last time, I believe it was the last time that I was there, I asked a few of the spirits that I was speaking with, do you have to repeat this on the anniversary of your death? And every one of them was yes. So that's a typical residual, where you got to relive your death over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I said, I can't think of anything that has happened to me twice there that's repeated the same way that happened the first time.
Now, when you go back there, do you frequently speak with the same spirit?
No.
Okay. Not to interrupt you there, but the best way to investigate Old South Pittsburgh is literally just be there and listen. Yeah, I mean, you can get evidence far as EVPs and stuff like that, but my experience, most of my stuff has happened when I'm not investigating.
Yeah.
Usually, what I do when I am investigating is as soon as I go in, I'll turn my recorder on, because even though things might not be happening physically,
I've gotten a lot of
usually they're always happening. Usually they're always talking, because I can remember an instance when me and Ronnie D went in there, and it was just the two of us, and we were talking amongst ourselves, and I had already turned the recorder on, because I thought we were going to start investigating, but we started talking about something else, and we got a clear EVP of a man talking in between us talking. And he was like, "Oh, I've lost my way," like he was like a lost patient or something, I guess from the geriatrics or the psychiatric ward that was there.
Man.
Something, but he was just lost, and he was wanting somebody to help him find where he needed to go.
Wow.
And I've also been in there painting a wall, and had a woman from behind me, which scared the living crap out of my dog, because I have my dog with me.
Wow.
And because it was just me and him that had went down there, and I just decided I wanted to go down there and just paint or whatever, and to clear my head or something. I whatever was going on at the time, and he was down there with me, and he was behind me, and some woman, it was on the first floor, from behind us said hello, and I swear he took off. Blake knows where Jim's area is on the first floor. He took off into Jim's area, and he stayed in Jim's area because apparently Jim was going to protect him from whatever and said hello to
Wow.
us.
So were you in the hallway? Like if you're at Jim's room, were you in the hallway across from Jim's room, down like
I
to the
was in the
left?
middle, like where you go across from one hallway to the other. Paint,
Okay, yeah.
where the yellow paint's at. I was
Okay, yeah.
painting the yellow paint, and
Okay.
the double doors. Like if you go from Jim's area through that crossway and turn right, and there's double doors there that will go up to the second floor or go outside. That's where
Yeah.
it comes from. Was over there.
Mm.
That's crazy. I've actually heard though that particular stairwell shake.
Yeah.
We were up there one night, and I don't know how to explain it. We cannot figure it out. But basically, there no run there at the time. I don't think there were any running water in the place when this happened. So I don't. We couldn't debunk it. Basically, it sounded like the whole stairwell was just going to fall down.
Is that metal stairs?
Oh yeah. I mean, that we jumped up and down on them. We tried everything we could to replicate to make it do it.
They're metal and concrete.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that happens. Sometimes I call them fireflies or firecrackers or whatever you want to say, but sometimes you'll sit on the third floor and look down one hallway or another, and you start seeing these little sparks of light, like red and orange and yellow and blue, and just
wow.
And usually when you start seeing them, that's the indication that if it's the start to your night, it's going to be a really active night, or it's an indication that your night's going to get a lot more active and a lot more crazy. Because of the energy, I guess it's just like the built up energy just starts.
Yeah. That's one thing about that. Yeah, that's one thing about Old South Pittsburgh. When it's good, it's good. Like, I mean, you can tell, as soon as you walk into the building, you can tell it's either going to be an active night or an active day or not.
Right.
The place has a totally different feeling at times.
Yeah.
So there's definitely poltergeist activity there.
I wouldn't call it poltergeist. Well,
they're able to move them stairs, dude.
I don't know.
There can be. It's false poltergeist activity because you'll be on the second floor and hear furniture moving, stomping, thumping. Sounds like they're
you're not actually seeing the things happen
building off.
Well,
you're not
that's
actually seeing anything move.
Nothing.
Yeah, well, that's like the door slamming on the third floor. I got to experience a door slam on the third floor and didn't see it, but I heard it. I mean, I actually heard the door open. It wasn't just a door shut. It was a door opening and shut.
Right.
So, and there are people that seen that we keep a rocking horse on the third floor.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that have seen it moved, caught it on camera moving, rocking. So, I mean, I don't know what you would classify it as. I mean, I don't know if it's truly poltergeist activity, but it's, very, very strong, spirits.
Right.
Yeah, the last time I was in the building pretty late, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning or something, apparently the spirits on the third floor wanted to go to bed. And we were making too much noise for them. And all you hear on the third floor is thump, 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 thump. And it sounds like doors, like every other door, like slamming. And we go up there and like the doors that were closed are open, and the doors that are open were closed now. Wow. So, and you're like, okay, I guess you want to go to bed, don't you?
I actually called an EVP of a nurse. It sounded like a nurse over intercom. Me and Renee and my fiance were in OR3, And we didn't hear it with our own ears, but when we went back and listened to the audio, we got, I mean, one of the loudest EVPs I've ever heard of what sounded like a radio call saying, "Go back to bed."
Yeah.
Wow.
And Jim, the spirit there, he used to be one of the caretakers of the building. He goes to bed at 10 o'clock. And if you go and try to interact with him after 10 o'clock, he might do a few things, but he lets it known that it's after his bedtime.
That is so wild, man. That is so wild. So when I think about spirits, I don't typically think about them going to bed, so that just is wild.
Well, I mean, if you think about them as humans, I mean, just an afterlife, I mean, we don't truly know what the afterlife is, but,
right.
Why wouldn't they?
I think he's just continuing his routine he had in life. And just one of those things that, I mean, he might hit the K2 or something every now and then for you after 10, but if you really want to interact with him, you better get in there before 10, especially no later than 11.
Wow.
He's like, I'm going to bed.
That is so wild.
I'm sure you've seen that video of where they had all the K2s in a circle and they were playing rock music in Jim's room and the K2s were going off to the beat of the music.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it going down going down his hallway like that. That he was doing 3 of them to the beat of the music.
That is so freaking wild, man. I've never heard of that before.
And he likes rap music. Like rap music wasn't even. I guess it was around when he was alive, but Missy Elliott wasn't. And that's the one that we can usually get him to do the K2 hits the most to is Missy Elliott's work song. Yeah.
That's wild. Oh man.
You got any questions for him, Neal?
So in your investigations and stuff that you do, what types of equipment do you use?
Well, me personally, I use like the fillings and stuff that I get first. And I always have the EVP recorder on too. That's I guess my go-to is always the EVP recorder.
The funny thing is, man, I bought an EVP recorder and I've had it now for probably about 6 months. I've only used it twice. I don't know why. I don't know. I need to get used to using it so I can
you need to, because I've gotten, just like he was saying, how he always has an audio recorder going at Old South Pittsburgh. The first time I ever went, we didn't really have anything happen. But when we went back and listened to our EVPs, we caught probably 10 EVPs that we never even, would have known that would have happened, or we got it audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that, man, because like I said, I've only used it maybe 2 or 3 times at the most. And I've had it this long, and I haven't really done anything with it.
Yeah, it's rare to catch stuff on video. It's rare to catch stuff in photos, but I swear, like 8 or 9 times out of 10, you'll catch it on an EVP recorder. You'll catch something.
That is so wild. I'm going to definitely start using mine more. My main thing I like you doing, man, is my dowsing rods. That and my empath abilities. Those are my things.
Yeah. Yes, I can tell you this. I had an experience. Blake was with me a few months ago down at the cemetery that he and I frequent, and I used dowsing rods that night for the first time, and it was I don't know, it's in doing all the things that Blake and I have done in the paranormal, that was probably the most interactive deal that I've ever had with a spirit, was that night.
Well, it was the most personal. I think that would be correct.
Yeah, and that's the thing I found about using dowsing rods, man. To me, when I use them, not only it just like you were saying, Blake, it's personal. I mean, and the reason it's personal for me by using dowsing rods, no matter who I'm speaking to with them, is because they got to actually get close enough to me to make those dowsing rods move. And when they do, I can feel them in my hands. And that's such an amazing feeling to me.
Right, it is, man. It's wild when you.
Yeah, we've had to. Me and my group, we've had to kind of go back to some of the older techniques because we've found when we all get together, we have so much energy, and we're pulling so much energy that I think we are messing up the electronic, like the cameras, everything else, because like
that's
we'll
crazy.
have like an 8-hour like battery life on a camera, and I mean, and not even getting any activity or whatever, and you'll one camera down, two camera down, three cameras down.
Damn.
And you're like, dang.
Yeah.
You're like,
you guys are sucking that energy out, man.
Yeah.
You ever heard anybody walk into a room and sucking the energy out? Ding, 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 ding.
Because, I have empathic abilities. JB is an empath, but she's a stronger empath than I am.
Right.
Candace, that's on my team, she's I can't really explain it. I don't really know the term to explain it, but like when she encounters a spirit, it basically plays a movie in her head telling her what happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Renee has abilities as well. She can kind of do some of what me and JB can do and some of what Candace can do. And when you get all 4 or 5 of us in a room at the same time, our energies connect. And we can, because I can look at Renee, JB, or Candace and know, like, if they're feeling something that's not theirs, or I can know if they're feeling distressed or upset or whatever, because all of our energies connect. That we work that well together.
Yeah, it's really important to find someone you work with like that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Hawk Paranormal, Eastern North Carolina, but I've recently started doing a good bit of collabs with these guys, and it's the same way with us, man. When we get together, because all 3 of us are empaths, you know, and we also have the ability to see. So it's such an amazing thing, man. I mean, having so many people together that can do the exact same thing, and we call ourselves a triple threat because, I mean, it's just crazy. It really is.
And I mean, it kind of will help validate some things as well. I mean, when you have more than one empath together, especially if you two are experiencing the same thing at the same time, and you can verify that between each other. So it kind of helps.
It does. Sometimes when we're together, man, with all 3 of us, like I'll start saying I'm feeling this about this person, and the other one will say, well, I'm feeling this same thing, but I'm also feeling this. And before we finished it, we've told the whole story about this person. It's just so freaking amazing how we can work like that.
Yeah, and I think when you get with people that have close to the same ability or the same ability, it also heightens yours as well.
It really does, man.
And it also like pushes your abilities further than what you thought.
Yeah, because
they could be pushed.
I mean, not that it's a competition or anything, but you always want to push yourself to be just a little bit more than what you were the last time.
You feed off each other.
You really do. You really do. And it's a good thing. Now, I'm a solo investigator myself. That's my my bread and butter right there, man. I love it. But going together with my friends like that and being able to do something like that with them, man, and but like Blake just said, feeding off of each other. You know, it is such an amazing thing, man. It really is.
Yeah, it is, and sometimes it takes a while sometimes to find the right people, or the right I guess, yeah, the right people that click
Yeah, yeah,
together that well.
yeah.
The,
And
the
when you
right,
when
the
you do
right,
find that,
the
I'm sorry.
right
Go ahead.
energy,
Yeah,
the
yep,
right energy. I mean, that would
yep,
be the best way to explain it.
yep. You're right, man. You're right. You know, without calling names, I'm sure that Blake and Rick knows who I'm talking about now. I just recently left a team that I was with because of not being able to click, and one wanting to be more than anybody else.
Yeah,
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 no, do that. Not even, we do paranormal. We also Bigfoot research, and even doing the Bigfoot research, you cannot try to outdo the others. I
yeah.
ran into that same situation a few months back, and I'm not going to put myself out there like that again.
Sorry, guys. I had to acknowledge something my friend said down here from Hawk Paranormal. He's on the line with us, and he was like, "Hawk Nation."
Yeah, yeah. If you ask Candace and JB, I've been known to do this. I will on purpose not tell them where we're going and not tell them anything about the location, and just drop them off blind, and then I will either video them or follow behind, like writing down what they say.
Yeah,
And I've had several instances I had to go to the people that own the place and be like, I've never heard this about this place. Did this happen? Or like, yeah, but there's hardly anybody that ever picks up on it.
wow. Let
Well,
me ask you this, man. This just happened to cross my mind, especially when going to places that you know are really active,
Hmm.
and even big places like Old South. Do you find that going with a large group of people in any way hinders the investigation?
It depends on the people that's in the group. It really does. If you have people that are serious about it, I don't think it hinders the investigation at all. Now there has been times, especially with some of the guests and stuff, that they just have like groupies that follow them and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they'll be over there snickering in the corner or whatever. And with my events, when I do my events, if I know ahead of time that these are the type of people that they are, because some of them do follow them to every event,
right,
I will purposely put them in a group together, because I know that group's not going to take it as seriously. So I
right.
try to group the more serious ghost hunter or investigators together, so that way they're more likely to get evidence. And
Yeah,
they're not only there to meet and investigate with the guests, but they're also there to have an experience.
yeah. I've had an experience before where I was on one of those uh called pay to play things. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
And I was really disappointed because it wasn't handled properly, and I don't want to say who it was that handled it because I don't want to, slot their name in any way. But there were so many people there,
Yeah.
and they weren't grouped together properly because we had people like myself, who, man, this is what I do, man, this is me,
Hmm.
And then you got like some Joe Blow who just, hey, man, ghost, hell yeah, I'll do it. And you get a bunch of them together with ones who actually are like us and actually do investigate. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, those of us who want to investigate, we're constantly having to say, shh, you
Yeah.
know. And after a while, you just like, you want to say the hell with it, just turn the camera off or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some, like, where I've done so many events now, like there's a lot of people that are returning, like event goers,
Yeah.
that come to my events. So I know how those people are, and what they want or
Yeah.
to experience. So I purposely try to, or you know, me and the people that help me with events, we try to purposely put them together.
Yeah.
And then if it's like people that we don't really know and we don't think are as serious, we'll try to kind of put them with people we don't think are as serious.
Right.
And I also do that about my group leaders and stuff too. Like, I've got a few that I go to that you know, they'll kind of play a babysitter. So that if you need them to.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And I mean, it's just really about knowing your customer base, kind of, and kind of getting to know them. Now, I did make a mistake back in my earlier events that I oversold an event, and that was my fault. And you know, I was just going with it because everybody wanted to get tickets and kept asking to purchase more tickets, and I oversold it. And you know, I 100% take credit for that was my mess up. But I learned from it.
Yeah.
And now I do smaller events. I look at the location and look at the logistics and try to figure out how many to max put in there, and people still have the experience that they want to have.
No, what locations do you do your events in? I mean, as far as like what state or different states or what?
I mostly Tennessee and Kentucky right now. I have had some in Illinois, like Ashmore, and West Virginia.
Do you think you'll ever have any plans to come to North Carolina?
I'm wanting to expand to North Carolina. Yeah. I've been trying to. I've been working on plans to expand. Hopefully to New York by next year.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully to maybe Florida by next year.
Yeah.
And further west. I'm looking at a place in Colorado to do an event at maybe next year.
Yeah.
A castle out there, which is pretty cool.
Do
So
me
I'm
a
always
favor.
looking to do different stuff, and I try to find places that aren't as commercialized
Right.
and have the history, and sometimes they actually need the money as well. I have an event coming up in May, which tickets should go on sale. Well, yeah, the tickets will be on sale by this weekend. That is an African American cultural museum right now. It's in Paducah, Kentucky. But in its history, it's hosted the likes of Tina Turner, Ray Charles, Etta James. And you just don't think of places like that being in Paducah, Kentucky.
Right.
And it's called the Hotel Metropolitan, and it's a smaller place. It'll be a smaller event, not that many tickets to be sold, but the place needs the revenue, especially after last year. You know.
Right. Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, last year was bad on places like that. There were
Yeah.
several places I had contacted. You know, I was willing and ready to go right away, you know, but everybody was like, you know, unfortunately we've shut down.
Yeah. And then like here at the end of March,
excuse me, guys.
We have the Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky, and also Octagon Hall. Well, a lot of people know Octagon Hall from all the various shows and things it's been on and things like that.
Right.
But the Old Stone Jail is just up and going, or just now getting up and going, and it has a lot of history and a lot of interesting things to find out and explore about it. So we're trying to incorporate new places along with the established places as well.
Now, I would imagine that the cost of the tickets would vary from location to location.
They do, yeah. Yeah, like here at the end of March, for the Oldstone Jail and for Octagon Hall, you're going to get both places for like $90, and most time you can't even get one place for that, for one ticket. And that's because the places were kind enough and willing to help, keep the cost low. And like the Hotel Metropolitan, mostly what she's wanting is just to rent the rooms, and that there's only 7 rooms, and there'll probably only be 15 tickets sold to the whole event.
Where's this at?
That one's in Paducah, the Hotel Metropolitan, and then the one at the end of March is in Franklin, Kentucky. And then after that, we have Old South Pittsburgh, which Old South Pittsburgh in itself lends to you can have more people because it's a bigger place and you can spread people out.
Yeah.
But I try to keep the ticket prices lower, because for one thing, I just don't think that you should try to. I always say you shouldn't try to make all your money on one ticket.
Right.
In one event. So
it's kind of, you won't repeat business, just like with everything. So
yeah.
I mean, if you make it more budget friendly for people, then the more they can come back to you for events.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And mine, if it's a higher ticket, you're getting the ticket, you're getting a shirt, you're getting like food, you're getting a bunch of stuff that not other than just the ticket.
Right.
So I mean, and I always try to have some kind of food or something too, because I'm like, these people coming to this event, they're going to be there like 5-6 hours or something. And I guess it's the Southern hospitality in me too. I'm like, well, crap, they need something to eat or a snack or something.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I might
it's
not
just
be
like
able to feed you a 3-course meal or something, but I can give you a pizza or sandwiches or something.
it's just like going to your granny's house. You always get fed.
Yeah, you get fed. You usually have drinks there, so.
Ricky, you're being quiet up there. You got any questions?
No, I was just sitting here thinking, y'all guys mentioned your a few minutes ago about personal experiences. I had one a few years back, just right after my mother passed away. She'd been gone about maybe 2 months. I had just moved into Parkbrook Apartments there at Calhoun, and I had stopped the night before, and I had actually bought a pack of these Hormel link sausages. My mother loved those things, and the next morning I got up and I decided I was going to fix them for breakfast. So I got in there in the kitchen, put them in pans, was cooking them, and I had this clock radio sitting on top of the refrigerator. Well, this radio had been sitting there for, I don't know, ever since we moved in, and all of a sudden, this thing, and while I was cooking these sausages, let me explain myself, I was standing there thinking about how much mother loved these things, and while she was alive, and all of a sudden, this clock radio flies off the refrigerator, lands in the middle of these sausages. I end up with sausages all over the floor. Uh, and to this day, I don't know whether that was actually my mother trying to tell me something, but man, it flipped me out when it happened. And this has been probably 18 years ago, and I still, on occasions, think about this. Especially Blake when we're out doing, our investigations or whatever. But it was just a wild thing that happened to me.
Wow. Have you tried to make contact with her at all since then, Ricky?
No, I haven't. No, maybe I should. I don't know. It was just, just something that happened to me. And like I said, that that radio, once it was placed back on the refrigerator, I lived there another 12 years, and the thing, it never happened again. It was just one of those occurrences that, like I say, I don't know whether mother was trying to tell me something or what the deal was, but
could have been.
She was trying to tell you. She was trying to tell you if she can't have none, you can't have none.
That's funny.
Sorry.
That's good, man. That was good.
Not trying to make too much of a joke out of it.
That could have been it exactly. But it's wild, man. You take the paranormal and things that happen to you, and you don't give it much thought when it actually happens. But
oh no, I think about it pretty hard.
As the years go by, though, man, it does. It kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type, if something happens, I'm automatically trying to figure out what it was. It's automatic debunk time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of go both ways on it.
Yeah, it's when you can't find the explanation for what happened. That's when it kind of hits you like, oh crap! What
Yeah, for real.
What just went on?
Yep, that's for sure.
Well, guys, we're a little over. You want to go ahead and call it a night, Ricky?
Yeah, guys, we've really enjoyed having you on tonight, Greg. We especially enjoyed having you here tonight, man. I had one of our guests that chimed in. They wanted to know what was your contact info, Greg.
You can find them on Facebook, Paranormal Adventures Events. If you just put at Paranormal Events, it should come up. And or you can find my team on Facebook. Her team name is actually Rednecks and Rainbows Paranormal. It's started out as a joke and just kind of stuck. So, but it's R&R for short. R&R Paranormal. Or you can just hit me up on my personal page, Gregg TJ Justice, and you got to put the TJ in there, or it won't come up right. And if someone wants to come to one of the events, I sell the tickets through Ticket Leap, and it's Paranormal Adventures events at Ticket Leap.
Okay.
That's good information.
Well, and Greg,
Neal, what about you, Neal? How can the folks contact you if they want to?
You can contact me at Neal's Nocturnal Nation at gmail.com, or you can reach me on Facebook at Neal K, or on Twitter at Nocturnal Nation.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, go show Neal some love. And I was just going to say, Greg, thank you so much, brother. I'm sure I'll be meeting you pretty soon. Are you going to be up at the hospital anytime soon, or?
Yeah, I should be there anytime now. Actually, I've been meaning to come down there the last little bit, just haven't got down there. I live in Nashville, so it's a couple hour drive right now. But
well, we've got the hide and seek event the 12th, so
yeah,
be a good time to come.
I'll probably be down there for that more than likely. So
I'm gonna be. We're gonna be there the 12th and 13th, so I'll get to meet you in person then. The hide and seek event, basically what it is we do a little hide and seek thing, basically where you get to hide, we get to find you. Then after that, that lasts like 2 hours, and after that, you split up into groups and investigate.
Okay.
If the residents of Old South Pittsburgh doesn't find you first.
Find you first, yeah.
Oh, yes.
They will. A lot of them will find you first.
Wow.
Yeah,
that would be freaking cool.
I saw a broadcast of yours the other night. Took place at Dover, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Remember you recall that one? I really enjoyed watching that, man.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff there, man. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, I noticed you got kindly. I don't know what I want to say here. It was kind of tough for you. I know that investigation was. I can tell that just on the broadcast.
Yeah, it was. When I first walked into that house, man, right away I started feeling stuff, and myself and Hawk Paranormal, we were all in one central room that was our staging area, and Billy, which is one of the guys on Hawk Paranormal, he was telling me, man, something just walked behind you into that room, and I had been feeling like I was being pulled to that room, and when I got in there, man, let me tell you, it was so. I've been to a lot of investigations, dude, and I've been around some really bad spirits. I've been pinned against the wall. I've been knocked over. I've been scratched. I mean, I've had it all happen to me. I even had them come inside of me and speak. But when I walked into that room, I was scared as hell. I was, and it was all because of a spirit that had been trapped there since 1974. And she was pissed because she couldn't figure out how to get to the other side. So I was able to help her cross over. And right after that, man, that whole room was just an entirely different feeling.
Wow.
Yeah. And
was that the one you just posted the other night?
Yeah, it was. And Hawk Paranormal just premiered one tonight. Their take of when we were there. And in his video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you because I want you to be able to look for it. I think it's close to the end of the video. He's going to play it in slow motion, and you'll be able to see a full body apparition of a woman walking across the wall. And if you look close enough, you can just see her details. She's got a black hair and a hair in a bun, wearing a long black dress with a white collar and lacy thing toward her breast, and she's looking up at the ceiling as she's walking. It was
Did
crazy.
any of y'all see it with y'all's own eyes, or did y'all just catch it?
We didn't see it with our own eyes, but we did see curtains moving. We saw different things happening, but we didn't see the apparition until we saw it on video.
Wow.
That house is scary. I've been to some scary places, man. That place is scary, and hopefully we'll be going back before too long.
Oh, Lord.
We also found out while we were there that that land around there was also Indian burial ground. Sorry.
Okay.
Guys, we'll have to get together and do an investigation one night. I would really like to get with you guys and
I know, man.
Hey, man, it's been eating at me.
we always got old South Pittsburgh.
Hey, dude. You know what our conversation today, brother?
Hey, dude,
it's kind of a middle ground for everybody, so yeah.
I'm willing to make a trip to North Carolina one night.
Heck yeah, man. Come on up. I got some good places we can go.
Sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of another broadcast. We really enjoyed having our guest on tonight. Gregg, keep us informed of what you're doing, man. Let us know about the events that you've got planned for the near future. And you, Neal, just, hey, man, keep in touch. Tell us, let us know what you're doing. Everybody, show Gregg and Neal some love. Go on YouTube, check them out. Blake, anything else before we go, bud?
I just want to say thank you, Gregg, and I'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah, hey, and you guys out there, make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to Northwest Georgia Cryptics.
And
That's
subscribe to Nocturnal Nation.
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Yeah,
had a great time.
Gregg, anytime you want to come back, man, just let us know.
Yeah, just let me know. You got a forever invite.
There you
Thanks
go.
for having me on, guys.
No,
I
thank you.
You're always welcome, buddy.
That's
Yeah.
right. This is my second home,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I was about to say you got a job with us now.
That's right, man. I'll give you my address and you start sending the paychecks.
Sounds good. You want them every 2 weeks, every month?
Just every 2 weeks, be all right.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Thank
See
you
you
guys.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Good
Yeah,
night,
man.
everybody.
Good night. And I'll be talking to you guys later.
All right, brother.
I mean, later.
Bye bye.